Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this matchup between HuT and Seither, two of the best players from the Oceanic region. Today, we've got HuT playing as the Holy Roman Empire, Seither playing as the English in this matchup in Age of Empires 4. Let's familiarize ourselves with the bonuses of both civilizations, and then we'll jump into the gameplay. Holy Roman Empire, infantry civilization, religious civilization, defensive civilization. Okay, so we are looking at prelates. Prelates are the religious unit that can be built from the town center. It costs 100 gold, and they buff up to 10 units around them with a 40% increase gather rate. Huge economic boost. They also have other benefits, like they can garrison relics inside of outposts, keeps, and towers to improve all of their statistics. They get man-at-arms in the feudal age, which are real tough, and they also get some really cool landmarks that we'll talk about as we see them in the game. But they also get the cost of emplacements on outposts and walls and stuff reduced, so they can buff up their defensive buildings cheaper than other civilizations. Jump over to the English, we see their defensive, their longbows, and their economy. Okay, so that's what their focuses are. Network of Castle buff is a buff that the English get around their town centers, outposts, towers, and keeps, which provides units with a plus 25% attack increase. So longbows would fire 25% faster, for example. And then we see they've got stronger villages that have bows. They get man-at-arms in the Dark Age, and their farm production costs 50% less wood to make, and farms near mills gather 15% faster. And they also get access to a really nice upgrade called enclosures in the late game, which means that their farms start generating gold as well. Let's get into the game. So in the blue, we have HuT. Like I said, playing as the Holy Roman Empire, and he is producing a prelate right away and getting all villagers tasked to get on the sheep straight away. If we jump over to the other player, Seither, he's tasked all of his units as well to jump on the sheep, whilst both players have moved their scouts out into the middle of the map to start exploring the landscape. We see the first villager that's coming out of the town centre for Seither is going straight onto the house and then mining camp. So he's starting to collect gold, which is a pretty basic and straightforward opening for the English. And you can see here that HuT has actually got out the prelate and he's moved all of his villagers straight to deer. So deer collect faster than sheep, and with the prelate's 40% buff, damn, they collect even faster. So he's going to have a very strong opening in terms of food. We see his first villager building the house and going straight to the gold as well. So similar-ish openings, obviously with just a little bit of a Holy Roman Empire twist on HuT's opening. If we're looking at the map, you'll notice that the players actually have really similar starting map for the resources close to their town center. So forward gold for HuT here, quite exposed, could be aggressed by longbows. Same with the deer, but not a huge distance from the town center. So if he does need to run, it's not far to get to safety. He's got a safe wood line in the back here, some safe berries. He does have a gold right up the rear. So definitely got some safe resources to collect and some riskier ones. And you'll notice that very similar for Seither. So he's got the deer out on the front here, gold at the back, a little bit towards the back. Could still be harassed by units coming in from the front here. And got a very safe wood line back here. Both players, obviously because of the map, have this flank completely protected by the lay of the land. And both would be vulnerable to a really intense sort of flanking maneuver down the sides and around the back, okay? So units could come from behind if the player chose to be that sneaky. So we see HuT getting a lot of villagers on gold here, up to 6 right now, and we're seeing the council hall being dropped by Seither around 2.5 minutes. So nice and quick, and he's going to get that up super fast. Not placed yet for HuT. You'll notice the Council Hall produces longbowmen at plus 100% speed. Generally, this is what most players go for because it's essentially 2 archery ranges right as you hit feudal age, and you can start pumping units out right away. HuT's dropping his landmark. He's gone for the Aachen Chapel, and this chapel can be garrisoned with a prelate, and once the prelate is garrisoned in the chapel, there'll be a radius around it that will get buffed with that 40% increased work rate for the villagers. So this will basically cover all of the sheep, will cover the wood line, the stone, the gold, and even a little bit of this wood line as well. So the positioning for this landmark is, on point. On point. So, you'll be getting prelate buff on absolutely everything. He won't be getting it out here. He would need to place a prelate out there, and it'd be interesting to see whether he goes for another one early in the game. So pretty straightforward opening here. We see Seither swapping a lot of villagers over to wood, either going for an early town centre or wanting to make sure that he's got the wood income for sustained production of longbows. Could be either, could be a mixture of both. Nothing too exciting happening at this point. Just getting around the map, having a look. Maybe we can speculate a little bit on what the players may actually be wanting to do. We do see longbows coming out straight away, but it's very likely that HuT is going to probably prioritize getting relics as soon as he gets to the Castle Age, because the Holy Roman Empire gets some really, really fantastic bonuses from relics being inside of their buildings. So you see here the Aachen Chapel is about to be complete, and I just want to show you the radius. Maybe if I changed perspective, I would see it. There we go. So we're looking at HuT, and we can see now that all of the villages in this radius are being buffed, and you can see the rim of that there. So we're seeing a longbow coming forward for Seither. Let's just toggle between the two players. So HuT currently has 20 economy, 2 military versus 20 economy of Seither and 5 military units. And we're seeing it opening fire on the villager, and immediately HuT responds by just pulling those villagers back, very likely to get them straight onto food here. And we can see an outpost immediately coming up on the gold, not wanting to be pushed off of the gold, fair enough. And we can also see that a villager has come forward for Seither, and he's going to be dropping a tower to bully HuT off of the gold, but will be thwarted as this is going to go up much quicker. So Longbow just taking some pop shots here at the scout. He's harassed that villager off, and Seither recognized, okay, I'm not going to get it up in time. I will be pushed off it, so better to just cancel and withdraw that villager and get him tasked to something more productive. Longbow sneaking around out the front here again, looking for some kind of angle to get some villager picks, deciding to maybe go the long way, retreating there a bit. HuT bringing forward his scout, picking off some of the deer. This would be a normal play if you were against the Rus. A little bit more peculiar as neither players are the Rus. He's just kind of killing them for... Maybe he just really likes to... it's because he's going to jack him. Grand Theft Deer. He's just taken that. He's got the upgrade for scouts being able to take carcasses. And we can see that these longbow are sneaking around the back, probably going to look for a little bit of damage. So Seither's on both wood and stone at the moment, so that would indicate that, yeah, he's definitely looking to get a town centre up. And if we flip over to HuT, currently HuT doesn't have anybody on stone, so not looking to go for a second town centre play just yet. He's got a couple of extra scouts. Maybe he's going to go and take the rest of those deer carcasses. It's a really entertaining play when players decide to do that. As soon as he drops that carcass off, he retasks his villagers to start taking the deer. As I said, they do gather faster. So economy humming away here nicely for HuT. Oh, that makes a total of 4 scouts. Seither strategically positioning his scout here on the front line, so he's getting a good view of what's coming out of the front of the base here. Not seeing these scouts skirting off to the side. Got a couple of longbows here. Could cause a little bit of trouble, and I guess HuT saw that, so he's decided to take off somewhere else. These longbows are starting to sneak around the back, getting close to where this blacksmith is being erected. Potentially going to get this villager. Let's watch this unfold. Okay, getting a few shots off. Oh, being line of sighted here by the trees. Not able to get those shots off. And town centre starting to fire. And just pushing these longbow back. Nothing really achieved except for a little bit of health lost on that villager. Making it more vulnerable if he does find a better angle. But not causing any trouble right now. We see the deer picking up, the scouts picking up these deer, getting a bunch of them, bringing them into the safety of the town centre. So for all of you new players out there, if you are getting harassed out on your deer patches, this is a great way to safely gather the deer in the vicinity of the town centre. So I imagine that HuT's probably going to be looking to get up to the castle age very soon. Pretty good timing. About 9 minutes when he's starting to go up. And we're seeing the consolidation of force here. We're bringing Seither's bringing all of the longbows together. So interesting to see what kind of play he's going to do with that. See, this is the positioning for his second town centre. We're seeing 2 barracks being dropped. And so far, let's have a look. No economic upgrades at this point in time for Seither that I can see. Yeah, nothing yet. On the other hand, we've got the mining upgrade for HuT. And we have wheelbarrow being researched now, and 2 of the other hunting researchers have been taken already. So we've got 13 longbows here moving in on HuT, seeing what they're going to be able to achieve. Villagers are being pulled off gold immediately, so HuT got really good map awareness. He's getting fired on, losing 1 villager there. Losing a second. Let's flick over to military score. So 3. Yeah, getting quite a few kills here. Taking some pretty hefty TC fire. Ending 2 of the lives of the longbow. But in return, getting 8 villagers in total. That's a pretty devastating toll to take on your economy. So Seither's putting himself in a nice position here with an economic lead. So 26 villagers for HuT, 42 for Seither. So not only is he producing out of 2 town centres, but he takes the life of plenty of villagers of HuTs there. So we're seeing night production coming out of 2 stables here. So these will be a very good counter to the longbow of Seither, and I just noticed that he's positioned longbow there and there on the relic, even up to the top, trying to deny HuT access to the relics. He's gone up to the castle age with the Regnitz Cathedral. This cathedral gives him plus 200% gold generation for any relic that he has garrisoned there. Scout and Knight combo taking out the Longbowman on the relic, making way for the Prelate to come through, pick that up, and get that safely into the Regnitz Cathedral to start generating a very powerful economic bonus for HuT. Outpost popping up here at the front of Seither's base, maybe a little weary of incoming aggression. It's got a blacksmith at the rear here, no upgrades yet. We're seeing that HuT has upgraded his armor defense for his units for ranged. So he will take less damage from the longbow. You can see that the White Tower defensive landmark is coming up for Seither. So Seither maybe feeling as though there could be a bit of aggression, and he would be right. There are units sort of circling his base, looking for an opening, coming in here on the gold, getting 1 villager, hesitating a little bit. Pathing there may have been playing with HuT a little bit. Could have potentially been at least 1 more kill. Spearman and longbow combination coming forward to harass these units away from his economy. Not looking like too much damage to either player taking place at this point. And that White Tower defensive landmark is going to come up here. And that's going to provide a very good protective radius to the front of Seither's base, stopping any incoming direct assault. Spearman and longbow moving out, potentially going to catch this prelate, which appears to be going for this relic up the back here. Yeah, he catches that one, kills it. Very frustrating for HuT. I know I'd be frustrated with that. It's very difficult just sending out prelates by themselves across the map. Obviously a very vulnerable unit with no offensive ability. If they're holding a relic, obviously they can attempt a conversion, but against a unit like a longbow, they can pick it off from a distance without too much hesitation. HuT definitely seeing now that the white tower is right at the front of the base, and we're seeing the consolidation of quite a lot of force here for Seither. Let's go back to the income per minute. We'll see that you've got an economy of 61, a military of 24 for Seither, 35-17 so for HuT. So yeah, a very big advantage right now to Seither. Let's see whether that's reflected in the player score. Not so much. There's not much of a difference between the two there. Obviously, it doesn't tell everything, but there's a bit of an indicator whether things are starting to go one way or another. Seeing a Springold come out from the White Tower. Springolds are very good against armoured units because they do high damage versus single target units, so they fire fairly quickly too. This is very annoying. The prelate getting attacked by the bloody wolf, the bitey infantry here, just causing trouble. 2 man-at-arms coming in to harass that off, to clear the way for the prelate to get the relic. Seeing more upgrades coming in for infantry here. So, melee units, melee damage upgrade. And not too much else happening right now for HuT in his base. We're seeing some defensive walling happening from Seither, so it's just going to stop any sort of sneaky flanking maneuver that could happen. And, okay, I missed that, but it looks like 2 villagers dead on the ground there. So HuT managing to interrupt villagers that would be out on this deer. Seither could potentially look at bringing a wall across the map, maybe to this tree line, just to block any units coming through there. There is a relic there that maybe HuT could be looking to pick up. Prelate's got a man-at-arms escort coming out to the relic over here, so we'll be able to take care of any wolves or any units that could be in the way of the prelate as it gets its relic. Right now we've got 2 garrisoned inside the Regnitz Cathedral, so it is going to be improving the gold income of HuT quite significantly, and he's got a market here, so he can use the market to balance out his economy if he needs, which is definitely the play to make. Got a mangonel positioned here. I like the way he's got his army set up here. Not looking to make any aggressive play, just purely building up a force for any defensive requirements. We see that relic being picked up. It's going to be a bit of a slow journey back, but doesn't look like Seither's moving any units, so should be fine to get back into the cathedral. Taking the rear gold now, as this front gold is almost gone completely. Seeing man-at-arms upgrades coming in for HuT. He's got the mace upgrade. And he's getting a whole bunch more barracks constructed. We can see the third... he's hit... Sorry guys, I missed that. He's hit the Imperial Age and he's got the Palace of Swabia. And he's got the last ranged upgrade. So HuT's doing everything that he can to make sure that his units are not vulnerable to the ranged units. And so the Palace of Swabia allows him to produce villages 75% speed, so very quickly, and 25% cheaper. So maybe he will be able to close the gap, 54 villages to 73. If he maintains villager production out of that, he'll very quickly catch up to the 2-town centre play of Seither. Seeing these knights kind of poking and prodding around the front of the base here, being harassed away. Not going to find any damage here. See a single longbow coming towards these berries, starting to attack, just being a menace here. He does force out the outpost. It's a frustrating thing to deal with as a player, or at least as a sort of intermediate player like myself. These sorts of things really put me on the back foot and frustrate me. You can see Scout coming forward to have a bit of a look around the map. He's run this longbow right into the back of the base here. The villagers are going to cut him. Going to cut him up and kill him. Yeah, taken care of. Problem solved. And we see the Scout sort of dancing around here at the front of the base, getting chased by all these knights. Taking the last of these deer with his villagers here. And we see Scout going down there. HuT definitely recognizing now that there's at least 1 or 2 mangonels. Maybe he saw even all 3. Let's take a look at their economies again. So 66 villagers, 34 military for HuT, 83 economy, 45 military for Seither. So closing the gap, but still a decent advantage to Seither. We see HuT dropping a couple of battering rams. He's got the elite man-at-arms upgrades. I love their plumed helmets. They look really cool. Starting to attempt to push forward. Potentially scouted out by Seither here. Yeah, he can very clearly see that. Got a few knights here coming in on the berries at the rear. They don't really care about outposts, so they're going to get quite a few villager picks, I imagine. Very frustrating to deal with. And yeah, the outpost is just tickling these units, really not doing much at all. Losing a lot here. It's going to try and take out the Scout so that it can't get vision anymore, but it's already seen what it needs to see. Seither's very well aware that there's an attack incoming, producing another mangonel. Producing a couple more knights coming out. Seither looks like he's in a very good position to defend against this, but HuT does have the technology advantage. Knights leaving. There has been a wall put up, so we're seeing the man-at-arms garrison inside of the battering ram. He could potentially drive the battering ram right in between all of the siege, ungarrison, and destroy all the siege. Let's see how this is going to unfold. Springold's opening fire here on the everything opening fire, taking down that first battering ram very easily before it really even starts to touch. Knights coming in up the top here, but just copping so many mangonel hits, trying to destroy the mangonels, getting one. These man-at-arms are all so bunched up. The mangonels just chewing through them, trying to get some of the man-at-arms on top of the mangonels to take them out. So far looking pretty even. It's hard to know which way this is going to go, but okay, tide's definitely starting to look like it's turning in Seither's favour. All of these longbows firing without any interruption, and slowly the man-at-arms are just getting chewed up. Battering rams now going to get torched, and very, very convincing win here for Seither. Technology advantage in HuT's favour. I would even say maybe no, composition wouldn't have really been in his favour. The man-at-arms counter all of the longbows and spears, but they don't do that great against knights. They go toe-to-toe with knights, but they don't necessarily counter them. But all of this siege just went ham on his clumped up units. It's very, very difficult to fight in into a defense like that. Underneath a castle, very difficult. So now Seither coming forward for the first time since really early game, and going to be looking to push into HuT's base. We are seeing some man-at-arms massed up. does have a lot of barracks, so could produce a lot of units if he had the economy to support it. Let's just quickly take a look at that. 107 villages for Seither to 88 for HuT. So still in every way, Seither is in an advantage. 200 population to 113. So Seither looking like he's in a very, very commanding position over this game. Building an outpost to give his units the Castle of Network bonus so that they fire faster, even though now they're away from that landmark and town center. So you can build these forward and get the bonus. Seeing knights coming into the back of the economy here and starting to move forward on the front as well. Being met by the man-at-arms here, and these knights aren't going to be able to get through them. But in the meantime, these buildings are going to go down, stopping HuT's ability to reinforce. Seeing Springold just get overrun and destroyed here. A few more Springolds getting produced. This man-at-arms just getting chewed up by the Springolds of Seither. Yeah, just dying as soon as they come out. Not looking good at all for HuT here. He does have 2 Springolds now, but nothing to stop these knights just running straight through again and killing them. Right now, HuT's still busy trying to take care of the knights in the back of his base. Seither obviously making a very good play, attacking the front, but also moving units behind. So there's just basically fires to be put out everywhere for HuT right now. Panic in his little town as the Red Army just waltzes right in, destroying buildings. HuT unfortunately didn't get the opportunity to place a defensive structure at the front of his base here. Could have been able to take a relic, place it inside a castle, use the emergency repair to keep it up. But unfortunately, not being able to prioritize stone collection, as he has been really the one that seems like he has to make the play in this game. Now we're seeing the Age 4 landmark getting built right in the face of HuT, just to add salt to the wounds. And knights coming in, overwhelming the Springolds, setting them ablaze. And we are seeing what looks to be the end of this game. Very difficult to see how HuT could come back from this. He does have quite a bit of siege mast here. Unfortunately, the Mangonel is just walking forward, and now is going to just get torched. HuT has a lot of different things to focus on now, so we understand that these mistakes start happening when, shit is just definitely hitting the fan. He's only got 1 wood line to take as well now, so if he wants to continue producing siege, he's, a little bit out of luck now. See, they're getting up to the Imperial Age, and we can see this landmark is just starting to fire a torrent of arrows, actually at the town centre, surprisingly. And slowly cleaning up the knights here, but they have taken out so many units. He does have, that's a decent amount of siege to deal with these units, but, the landmark is going to stop Seither from being able to push out and get his economy back under control. He's going to be confined to the sort of rear part of his base where, like I said, he doesn't have any wood access. That's a very desperate lumber camp. Yeah, there's definitely a shortage of wood on this map. That can be said for most maps in Age of Empires 4. I really think they need to do something about that. Probably purely just making the trees actually contain more wood would be more than enough, but we're seeing 3 battering rams coming in, mangonel reinforcements, man-at-arms coming forward to deal with the battering rams. Be interesting to see whether he can take care of them. Mangonels opening fire on Mangonels. And GG being called. Seither taking the victory here. GG. Well played, HuT. Well played, Seither. So, this matchup was part of an Oceanic tournament, little kind of mini tournament that's taking place. I think it's every week. So I'll be casting a lot of those games, supporting the local scene and I'll also be supporting the greater scene. So if you're interested in catching Genesis matches, I'll be casting Genesis matches. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you like the content here. Down below in the description, there'll be a link to my Twitch as well if you'd like to catch me live. I will be casting games live, as well as doing a little bit of gameplay myself. Everybody, I hope you really enjoyed this matchup between HuT and Seither. GG to both players, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Peace.